Hello there. Been a little while since I've done an on-camera video, and it seems appropriate that after a little time I come back for a review of a film that I can already say I think is underrated. I do. I thoroughly enjoyed this film, and apparently I'm one of the few that enjoyed it, because I know if you go on YouTube, most people hated it. If you go by critics, most of them hated it. I did make a post on Facebook, and a couple people seemed to enjoy the film like me. For example, Michael Keane Phantasm. And that is Kidnap. 2017 film starring Halle Berry. It was supposed to come out earlier, but then the studio that was releasing it went into financial trouble. Then I think somehow they lost the rights, and then someone else picked it up, and then they released it in August, and it did not do well. I mean, it debuted at number 5. Critics took a big shit on it. YouTubers, I know, like Brad, the Cinema Snob, and Chris Stuckman, and all these guys did not like it. And I don't understand it. I don't. If you don't like it, to each their own, but I disagree. In fact, for films this year, I would put this number 3 for my personal favorite, after John Wick 2 and Coastal Island. This is my kind of movie. Why? Number 1, it's fast-paced. I was never bored at all. You have 15 minutes to set up, which I thought was done fine. And then after 15 minutes, boom, we're off, and it doesn't let go till the end of the movie. It's only 90-some minutes, which people go, why does that matter? Because sometimes movies overfill shit. They put too much stuff in there that's not needed. And to me, this film had the right pace. It did not need to be a 2-hour movie. Just 90 minutes in and out. Halle Berry, I don't understand the criticism she's gotten for this performance, saying that it's bad, it's horrible, it's the worst performance of her career. I'm like, has no one seen Catwoman? The amount of shit. And people don't want me to compare, but fuck it. The fact that critics will give the performers of Ghostbusters 2016 and that movie, as well as stuff like Wonder Woman's Gal Gadot, they give them the pass, but not Halle Berry, and this role and this performance dumbfounds me. I mean, hell, critics, they love Ghostbusters 2016, and they're like, oh, it's about female empowerment, and it's about strong women. This is a fucking movie about a mom going after to rescue her kid from kidnappers. But yet, critics, I guess this film did not have, oh yeah, I'm sorry, critics, this film did not have a pussy fart joke. And it did not have a fucking scene with a fucking mentally just fucking gone woman with glasses eating a Pringles blatantly. And it didn't have them shooting a ghost in the dick. Yeah, I'm sorry Halle Berry did not shoot a ghost in the dick, or shoot someone in the dick. Although if they did in this, I'd allow it. But that just dumbfounds me. That film, critics gushed and jerked all over themselves for. Female empowerment. And then if you didn't like it, you're sexist. So to those people, those critics, can I say that to them? That they're sexist because they don't like the movie? Since that was their reasoning? It just dumbfounds me. Fucking dumbfounds me sometimes. But anyway, getting back to the movie. Not only do I think it's fast-paced, the running time was right. The Halle Berry did a great job. It's easily one of my favorite roles from her. I think it's the best role she's had for a long time. I did not see that movie, The Call, but even from the gist of the trailer, I would assume I would enjoy this more than The Call. One day I'll give that a look, but based on the premise and the trailers, I remember seeing the trailer to this earlier this year. Really looked forward to it. I was not disappointed, and had a good time when I watched it. I thought that the action was handled fine. I understood what was going on. I wasn't confused. It wasn't schizophrenic editing. It wasn't tons of shaky cam. It wasn't... I understood the environment that was going on. The score was fine for what it had to be. It was nothing remote too memorable. But overall, the bits I remember, I didn't mind. I liked, and it wasn't distracting. It wasn't like the fucking Hitcher remake, where all of a sudden let's have Nine Inch Nails song playing during an action sequence. Fucking Hitcher remake. Or any stupid shit like that. The way it opened up, I liked. I like the fact that the way it opens up is home movie footage showing her kid growing up. Thought that was sweet. And nice way to start off with the film. I like the idea of the first 15 minutes, a slice of life of her as a waitress. Almost a blue-collar type of character, almost. I liked that. Missed that. I thought the actresses were handled well. There was no sequel bait ending or downbeat ending. I thought it was entertaining. This so reminded me of a 90s movie. Like, this came out around the same time as The Net with Sandra Bullock, where it was those, it just really reminded me of it. Just the pacing of it, the way it was. I couldn't help it. People may be confused by me making that comparison, but it really did remind me of a 90s movie. Up even to the ending song, which I enjoyed. Some people I think they'll probably use the word cheesy, which I hate that word. But that's even the ending song reminded me of a 90s movie. Like that song, I could like totally hear in a 90s movie. Totally 90s. It did remind me of a 90s movie. And the criticisms I hear about it, I don't understand. People go, it's nothing. What does that mean, it's nothing? It's doesn't even shouldn't be in theaters. It's nothing. It's a nothing movie. There's nothing to it. I'm like, what do you mean there's nothing to it? Halle Berry does a great job. The action scenes were handled fine. It wasn't CGI orgasm fest like the finale of Wonder Woman, with so many people, hey, that's fine. They just pass on by with that. I guess it's okay to have a CGI orgasm fest. Everything fucking green screen 50 Ways to Sunday. But that's just the pass. Oh, Gal Gadot, they're the fucking studio, that movie, we want to get that an Oscar nomination for Best Picture and Gal Gadot for Best Actress. And I'm sorry, you can't, Gal Gadot, her performance, Halle Berry in this movie, Halle Berry beats the shit out of Gal Gadot. Halle Berry could kick Gal Gadot's ass when I watch Halle Berry in this movie. People are like, why do you keep comparing? Why don't you just judge the film by itself? Because I look at these films, the critics and such praised and gave the pass, like gas from a fucking ass. And if this is what people want today, then I guess I really am unsure about the future of entertainment. John Wick 2 thankfully got praised. Control Island got some praise, but it wasn't a box office phenomenon. I think it did okay. But it's just, I really do feel this is an underrated film. People talk about, what was the main criticism? It's unrealistic. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me with this bullshit, unrealistic? The best movies, even they are unrealistic. Die Hard and Speed, two of the best action films out there, are unrealistic. I hate to burst some bubbles. And I love Die Hard and Speed to death. And no, I'm not putting Kidnap in the realm of those. But I'm just taking two of the best out there for action movies. Guess what? If an entire fucking roof blows up and you jump off it, the entire roof has blown up. You're not going to have a fucking fire hose that should not be there because the entire roof blew up, catch on something, have a guy hang there just long enough to shoot through the glass, and then as he gets in, then the hose falls down. You're not going to have in Speed a fucking bus fly over because buses can't do that. If it would be like that far, buses can't really jump. They can't do that. If you're looking at realistic terms, that bus would have been blown up in 5 minutes. It would not have stayed 55 miles an hour over. It's called escapism. Now, if you don't like the film for other reasons on top of that, I can understand. I've done that in many other movies too. But when I find a film that I think is very entertaining, very fast-paced, a lead I really enjoy, I thought the action scenes were handled well. You haven't even had once in a while some slow-mo, which was used more sparingly and better than fucking Wonder Woman, where every 5 seconds in an action scene there was a slow-mo. When you have all these other elements that work together, I can overcome some lapse of logic. But even I don't think it has as much as people have said. I mean, it's funny when I look at 2 reviews of this film, and they're totally opposite, and in my opinion, they're both full of shit. When I look at one person who says, oh man, she wrecked so many cars, it's like a Fast and Furious movie. And I'm like, well, that person didn't watch the fucking movie. Because I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Not at all. And then one person goes, oh, she should have wrecked all these cars, and she should have wrecked all them, so they would have called some phone, the police. I'm like, so you want her to intentionally endanger other people for her reasons? And I'm like, man, no wonder there's so many shitty drivers. This is what people think. People go, why didn't she smash into the car? Well, I don't know. She has a big minivan, and that car is pretty tiny. Maybe she's worried that her kid who's inside, it'll flip over and he'll die. And also, that's another thing you think about in movies, is that when people are in a high-stress situation, they don't think logically. They don't. Again, get into a high-stress situation, let's see if you act logically. So the realistic version is people acting stupid because there's a lot of stupid people in real life, if you want to talk about realism. But see, okay, if there's other factors to the reason you don't like the film, we agree to disagree. But the unrealism shit is mind-boggling to me. You pick almost every thriller of the fucking 90s, and I can tell you why it's unrealistic. Just don't give me that shit. And the reason I'm so passionate about it is that this film gets so derided that I'm like, did I see the same fucking movie as these guys did, or what? I don't get that. I do find this very underrated. Very underrated. And this is for me doing my non-spoiler review, so I'm going to start giving spoilers right now for those who want to see it. If you don't like the film, to each their own. I do, because I think this film deserves some defending. So like I said, going through the film, I enjoy the opening sequence, starting spoilers right now, of the home movie footage of the baby throughout the years. I thought it was sweet. I thought it made me like the kid based on this, and I did not find the kid annoying. I did not find the kid irritating. There's many other films I can cite that, for example. Jake Lloyd and the Phantom Menace. And even Jingle All the Way, which I like Jingle All the Way, but the kid, not so much. I thought this kid did fine. Like I said, I like that Halle Berry's a waitress, sort of a slice of life. You're dealing with a bitchy customer, or an annoying kid. Not her kid, but this other kid, this chubby kid who's with this family. And just what she has to deal with on a daily life. That's how I saw that scene. I enjoyed that. I like that she has a little bit of fire in her when this bitchy customer, she looks like the, ooh, I broke a nail, dead weight type of variety. And she's talking about, complaining about, you don't have 2% milk? Oh, why don't I just get it directly to my thighs? And Halle Berry goes, you could use the help. They go to the park. She gets a call from her ex, who's in real estate, and the ex his girl's going to be a doctor, and they want primary custody, so I feel bad for Halle Berry's character. She's talking, she turns, and boom, 15 minutes in, the movie has begun where she's looking for her kid. He's been kidnapped. She's trying to get into the car. She just dragged around. She immediately gets him to drive. Stuff's being thrown at her from the car in front. She's maneuvering. At one point, she prays to herself. So, why is she talking to herself? I've talked to myself in long instances of being by myself on a ride or a car ride or something. I know other people have done it too. And what do you expect? She's praying, or she's trying to deal with a high-stress situation. It's not that uncommon. Again, burst some bubbles. Stuff's being thrown at her, including this tire, which makes this car flip over. And they're like, why does it, again, people go, why didn't she bash the car? Again, it's like a little green car. She's in a giant minivan. When you think, if she did try, you would have people complain, well, I guess she doesn't care about her kid's life. Look, she's endangering him and trying to smash the car. What if the car, which is on a freeway, hits another car? What if it flips over? And, it's a little kid. Maybe his neck will snap. Maybe, it's not like a fucking 15-year-old, 20-year-old person. It's a 6-year-old kid. Maybe she doesn't want to endanger her own kid. I know that's weird for folks, but it makes me question the people who immediately would go, just smash it to the car. And, oh, well, it flips over, okay. I'm like, makes me question their parenting, honestly. I don't give a fuck if I sound harsh. Fuck it. Believe me, there's a lot of parents in the world. Not all of them deserve it. Every parent is not a smart person. There are some parents who are also dumb. And it's just all these trials she goes through. People are like, oh, there's no cops in here. And they do show cops. There's even a moment where she's listening on the radio and the stuff that happened, they're talking about it, and they found like another minivan. And you even see like cops going by on the other side of the freeway. But yet people who review this on IMDb and critics, these are professional paid critics on Rotten Tomatoes and stuff. Did you even watch the film? I just don't get it. She has this toy that her kid had, which records stuff, and she got a recording of one of the kidnappers. And I'm sorry, that scene when she's listening to her and you see tears going down her face, and then people really want to tell me that she gave a bad performance. Bullshit, my dick. All right, I call bullshit on that. But then they give Gal Gadot praise. Fucking people go, she deserves an Oscar because she's so hot. I guarantee you, if that was not called Wonder Woman, it would have gotten shit. Give me a break. But then all these critics want to fucking jerk off on those movies for female empowerment. And this isn't female empowerment? Yeah, what the fuck? Someone explain that to me, please? Ghostbusters 26, that's female empowerment. But a woman going after to rescue her kid isn't. Wow, okay. Yeah, Halle Berry, she's not a better actress than Gal, get the fuck out of my face, Gadot. Gal, don't. Like, don't act anymore. Gal, it fucking drives me insane. I don't know. I know it's other people's opinion. I know, I understand that. I'm trying to understand myself, the reasoning. But, some films get praise and some don't. And I think it's just, the reason I get passion on that is that when films like this bomb, and when films like this get hated on so much, they won't make them anymore. They don't make them. When they see this film Kidnap that debuts at number 5, and people hate it, reviewers, some people didn't watch the fucking movie apparently, and they taught all this shit, you're not going to find movies like this anymore. Why would they if it bombed and majority hates it? But then you look at movies like Wonder Woman, you get 5 more Wonder Woman type movies where they get a person who can't fucking act out of fucking shantytown starring in it. But yeah, I look at this Just this scene alone with real tears coming down. It's not someone going, "We got to do our duty," you know, to the fucking Amazons. But anyway, there's a cop on a motorcycle. She tries to get his attention, and the assholes crush the cop in between their car and her car. And I thought that was well filmed. I thought it was well handled. And then she tries to reason, trying doing the best she can. Because if she was action hero, fucking fisticuffs, people would be pissed about that, saying that's unrealistic too. And she's like, "Here, take the money. I don't give a shit." And that makes sense. Why would you give a shit about money when all you care about is your son and to rescue her? And I think Halle Berry has some good lines. Like, "I will not stop. Wherever you go, I will be right behind you, no matter what." And if people won't go, "Well, this is the female Taken." Well, you know what? This is one of the best Taken knockoffs since Taken. Taken was what? Almost, I say. I think it was 2008, so almost 10 years ago. Certainly a lot better than Taken 2 or Taken 3 or some of those other movies. I think she's a badass. And then there's like two kidnappers. There's a guy and there's a overweight woman, and she comes by, and Halle Berry says, "No, you're going to kill me if I open this door." And then she pretty much mentions, "What, you want him to kill your son?" And it's like, there's not much she can do. If she tries to drive, the guy will drive off with the kid and maybe, you know, do something to the kid. You know, it's, Dan, she's not Superwoman. And lets the woman in. She gets attacked in the tunnel, getting choked out, bashed in, seat fall back. She opens the door, shoves her out. And granted, she probably wants to take care of her for good, but then she still got to go with this guy and make sure, you know, put on the asshole woman's shirt and fake him out and follow him so she doesn't lose her kid. And just all this stuff that happens. You know, they keep, again, they're like, "Oh, why didn't she just bash the car?" Do they also forget the times where they threaten the kid? Like the moment where they threaten the kid with a knife to the neck, or the moment where they're about ready to push the kid out of the car? You think they wouldn't have done that if she did try to run them, hit them? I'm sorry, in my opinion, this film gets a lot more flack than it deserves. Again, that's just my opinion. I don't care. That's the thing. I don't care if, you know, at the end of the day, I'm going to like whatever the hell I want. Same as you. You don't like whatever the hell you want. And then people, and I mention it because people go, "Well, this film has a blank line to be and 40% of blah, blah, blah." And the reason I mention that a lot is because that's something that gets mentioned to me a lot. "Well, Matt, you like Rambo 2, and that only gets a 20-some%. I guess you like bad movies." No, because I think Rambo 2, Rambo First Blood Part 2 is a fucking action classic. And people go, "Well, I guess you don't have good taste. I'm sorry, guilty pleasures don't count." And I'm like, I don't think it's a guilty pleasure. I think you're guilty for shitty taste. And people are like, "Why don't listen to them?" Yeah, it's, you don't listen to them, but when you get constantly, sometimes one of them peeks through into your brain and you inadvertently listen. It just, again, I think what it is just, the reason I get passionate about it is, if people hate those kind of movies and enough of them bash on it and make it flop, then you're not going to see more movies like that. I would love to see more movies like Kidnap. I love movies. I would love future movies to get better, because I don't think they're in a good spot. Even though there are quite a few movies I've enjoyed this year. John Wick 2, Skull Island, Get Out, you know, this movie. But, granted, I haven't gone out to see bad movies. Unless you count Alien Covenant or The Mummy. But those were under different circumstances. AKA, someone wanted me to see them and bought me a ticket. I'm like, okay. And I went ahead and did it. But this, I like how the movie keeps on going. I like the little instances they throw out. Like after that, she goes to a random person, haunts, and goes, call the police. This is the car they're driving. Call them. Um, Leaps of logic, I could give you maybe one or two, if I was to be fair. One is after that, she's trying to look for it. She sees smoke from an auto accident, and she goes over there, and it happens to be the car she's looking for. Okay, yes, that's a leap of logic. But I can be fine with many movies having a leap of logic if I'm entertained. Again, there are hundreds of movies I can name that have leaps of logic or unrealistic tendencies, but I will go with it if the rest of it is working well. That's an example of it. Because I like that right after that, okay, the guy kidnapper and the boy are on foot. She goes in the police station, tells the cop everything. And I like this moment. I like this moment since I saw the trailer. Because believe it or not, before this film came out, I thought of a similar idea to this as a movie. I never wrote it down, never told anybody, but in my head I was because I'm a fan of The Hitcher, the original The Hitcher. And yes, I will put the original Hitcher above this movie. Yes. But I love the original Hitcher with C. Thomas Howell and Rutger Hauer. I thought, man, it'd be so cool if you're in the middle of nowhere and it's a guy with a daughter, like 5-year-old daughter. She just kidnapped, and this guy has to go through hell and high water to get his daughter back in the middle of nowhere. So kind of like dual Hitcher tendencies. And I always thought of a scene of him, the guy seeing these missing posters and being like, okay, like here, like she says, where she goes, these people waited. That's what these guys did. They waited. And then the person goes, I mean, like, wow, that's a scene I remember envisioning in my head. And wow, someone else did it. I thought that was cool. Very cool. I like that scene. Tries to find the guy. Now he's in this big black minivan. This is another scene I enjoy and I didn't expect. Where the big black minivan, the asshole, hits this poor woman pedestrian. And Halle Berry, I'm thinking, okay, she's going to bypass her. It's going to be, oh, get out of the way. And barely misses her. No. Halle Berry sees him. Okay, imagine the woman's been hit. She's not dead, but she's hurt. The truck is going this way. You have a truck coming here. Halle Berry's here. She sees it. So this is ready to hit the woman. She swerves into it so that she gets the hit and saves the woman. I thought, wow, that was really cool. It made me like Halle Berry even more. It made me fucking laugh at these people saying, oh man, she doesn't care about anybody else's life except hers. And I'm like, man, you're a fucking idiot then. You're not an idiot if you don't like the film. We just have a disagreement and opinion. But if you really think, though, she doesn't care about anybody else, that moment alone proves how full of shit, aka Foss, full of shit syndrome you have. Give me a fucking break, man. And I like that she's trying to catch up to it. That's the moment she says, fuck you! And then she starts bashing it. Because people are like, well, why does she bash now? Because now she's running out of gas, and it's like, I don't want to hurt my kid, but this is last tactics, it's the last thing she can do. But the car runs out of gas. I like this moment. I did not see this moment coming because she stops a person. She gets in the car, and I thought, okay, they're going to drive off and try to catch the guy. But then the guy who picks her up says, that's a dead end. And she's like, what do you mean? And I'm thinking, what? And then all of a sudden goes back and smashes into her and the guy's truck. I didn't see that coming. And then, that guy's fucked up and she gets out. She avoids the asshole with the shotgun. She He tries to smash into the truck. She grabs it, traps his arm, drags his ass by releasing the brake, drags his ass. And I think sort of like, in a way, crushes him. Because, I mean, if you're against a metal sliding minivan door and boom, you get hit, you don't feel it. And believe me, I know how it is. I've been in a car crash, okay? When I was in middle school, we were on a dirt road. I was again fairly young. My brother was driving, my cousin was in the other seat, and my brother was fucking around, and they were probably going like, I don't know, 20 miles per hour, 30 at most, swerving around on a dirt road. He couldn't handle it, flipped the car, so he was right here looking towards, it was in the ditch looking towards the dirt road. I got a fucking cut on my eyeball. He got his lung punctured. I mean, he's doing fine. But at that time, he got his ribs broken, lung punctured. And this was just a little... It wasn't like going 50 miles an hour. And in this movie, they're going really fast. So again, when people go, well, why did she hit the vehicle? I've been in a car crash. I know how fucking dangerous it can be. I had my eyeball cut because I had glasses even at that point, and they disappeared. And I had to take drops so that this eyeball wasn't blind for life. So I fucking know how dangerous a fucking crash can be. So, but she fucks him up, finds out where he lives, it's nearby, that's where her kid's at. And again, you know, she has a shotgun, but there's no shells in it. And everything she did made sense to me. Why did she put the shotgun down? Because she picks up a phone to call 911 and she's looking for shells. And then she hears noise, still on the phone, doesn't hang up, doesn't drop it. There's no shells. What's she gonna do? Go bang? No, she picks up a fuck off butcher knife, looks for it, still on, has to hide from that chubby woman earlier. She's come back. Goes, finds her kid, finds that there's 2 other kids kidnapped as well, gets her kid out, don't come back for the other 2, hides from this fat woman, and who now has a shotgun, and she found shells, because she lives there. I like Halle Berry just fucking pulls her down and fucking drowns her ass. I like that. Saves the 2, into the 2 girls, and then this other guy comes in. I'm like, who's this guy? And this guy's like, oh, I'm a neighbor, this and that. And I thought this was a good moment, because she tells her, I've called the police, blah, blah, blah. This guy's like, oh, okay, I'll help you. But the guy admits that there's 2 girls. And even Halle Berry goes, well, how do you know there's 2 of them up there? And how do you know they're both girls? And she picks up a shovel, and she goes, you took the wrong kid. Just smacks him right in the head with a shovel. And the police come. They come out. Movie ends. No sequel bait ending. No downbeat ending. No bullshit ending. The song reminds me of like totally 90s song. I enjoy this movie a lot. I did. I thoroughly enjoy this film. I would gladly love to pick this up on Blu-ray when it comes out. I am definitely a big defender of the movie. It's easily the most underrated film I've seen this year. Because at least Coastal Island and John Wick 2 and others, got some good reviews. This got totally trashed. It got fucked over when it wasn't released earlier, and then when it got pushed back, people thought, oh, well, it must be because it's a bad movie. And then the critics trashed it, and I disagree. If you don't like the film, T-Stone, I think it's a damn good movie. It was worth my time. I don't really get the hate for it. But it kind of made sense, because a lot of those 90s films I enjoy, they were hated too. And I found them to be underrated as well. So, the more things change, the more they stay the same. People are like, oh man, the 80s, and, it's so great. And yeah, a lot of those movies got hated on. And it was funny, because recently my friend Mike OCP did a rant about Rotten Tomatoes and how people just look at Rotten Tomatoes and judge for themselves. They don't judge for themselves. They just look at Rotten Tomatoes, and if that's a bad rating, they won't see the movie. And I'm like, man, if there was a Rotten Tomatoes in 1982, John Carpenter's The Thing would have gotten like a 10% of Rotten Tomatoes, if that. That's how much that fucking film was hated. Okay? And that is one of the best of all time. So, anyway, don't worry about, at the end of the day, think for yourself. Anyway, thanks for watching my review. I know it went longer, but I wanted to do some defending on the film. Fuck yeah, there's every other review for this film on YouTube is negative. If there's going to be one positive, I might as well make it as long as possible and go on and babble. Fuck it. But anyway, I think it's a damn good flick. Underrated flick. I think Halle Berry knocked it out of the park. I think the director did a pretty damn good job. And yeah, it's easily my third favorite film of the year. So thanks for watching. Take care. And we will see you later. Bye-bye.